2, 1.
Okay. Yeah, thanks everyone for having me. I'm going to be, my name is OneEyedDeacon. I'm going to be doing Arkham Knight, any percent. Um, so before we get started, I'm going to do the most important thing, which is to select a Batman skin. So I think based on the donations, last time I checked, which was about a minute ago, the 1989 skin one. So I'm going to just choose that one. And so we'll get started. The timing does not start yet. I will let you know when the timing starts. So as kind of a preface, Arkham Knight is the third game in the Arkham trilogy. There's an Arkham anthology because there's a prequel game, fourth game in that. In the previous game, which was Arkham City, there's a supervillain named the Joker who has a bloodborne infection, and he's dying from it. So in order to try to cure himself, what he tries to do is he tries to inspire Batman to help him find a cure for it by injecting his blood into Batman. And then, for good measure, he also sends his blood to hospital around Gotham City, so that people will get blood transfused into them, and Batman will be further incentivized to save him. It doesn't work. Joker does succumb to his illness. So the first thing we're going to do in this game is cremate his body. Before we do that, I'm going to just double check to make sure I'm on the easy difficulty. This is the fastest difficulty. And timing starts when I start cremating the Joker or when I say go. So 3, 2, 1, go. And after we burn Joker's body, we're going to be treated to an epic narration by Commissioner Gordon.
This is how it happened. This is how the Batman died.
So in this exposition cutscene that we skip, what happens is basically Commissioner Gordon expected with the Joker's death that there'd be some kind of power vacuum in the criminal organization in Gotham, and that there'd be some kind of power struggle. But that never actually happened. Everything's been calm so far, but he's worried something in the future might happen. But in the meantime, things are fine. Right now, we're playing the role of a cop. We're ordering some food. There's a nice waitress named Sharon there. We're in a diner. There's a lot of Easter eggs in here. So, for example, there's this missing person poster for Henry Adams. That might be relevant later. Goliath's still at large. That might be relevant later. Some blimps over there. That might be relevant later. So we're just here, about to eat. Then this guy with glasses comes over, complains about some guy in the corner smoking. I guess that's what a cop should do, confront smoking customers, so I guess that's what we'll do. So we'll just head on over here.
Excuse me, sir. There's no smoking in here.
Oh, so I guess this guy didn't like being told to stop smoking. He turned into a monster and assaulted us. It looks like also the rest of the diner turned into monsters and they're beating each other up. It's okay though, we're a police officer, we have a gun, we can defend ourselves. So for this, it's faster to shoot this guy. You don't actually have to shoot anybody in here. All that does is it changes some NPC dialogue down the line in the actual game, but for the purposes of the speedrun, it's better to just shoot that one guy and then walk forward. So what happened here is that there's another supervillain named Scarecrow, and what he did is he released a little bit of fear toxin in this diner as a demonstration of what his fear toxin will do. In the next 48 hours, Gotham gets completely evacuated, and all the people that are left there's obviously Batman and some cops. Then there's some supervillains like Two-Face and the Penguin here. And there's some rioters. And what we're going to be spending the rest of the game doing is basically we're going to try to find Scarecrow and stop him from releasing the toxin throughout Gotham City. So now what I'm going to do is there was another donation incentive for big head mode, so this is the next most important thing. So you can see everybody is like properly proportioned, their heads are normal sized. But what I can do is I can turn on big head mode, which makes people's heads overly large. I think that worked. I don't actually know. Let's just double check when we get to Batman. But basically what big head mode does is it makes people's heads really big and it makes their hands really big. It looks really funny. Chat loves it, so usually. Yeah, so here we go. So here we can see Batman's head is very big now. And everyone's head is going to be very big. It's very funny. So now we see a bat signal out over there over GCPD. That's Commissioner Gordon. Batman likes to head over to bat signals, so we're just going to do that. And basically what Commissioner Gordon's going to tell us is that there's the only lead we have for Scarecrow is that there's some military vehicle around, just that they haven't been able to track through Gotham. Oh, whoops. And then after that, we talked to Barbara Gordon, who is Commissioner Gordon's daughter, who used to be Batgirl. Now she is paralyzed and wheelchair bound. And she tells us that there's a cop who's basically in a bit of trouble. So we're going to go help him out. Commissioner Gordon does not know that his daughter works for us. But anyways, let's rescue this cop. And so then after we rescue the cop, the military vehicle tries to run us over. We rescue the cop and get out of the way, and now we're chasing it in our Batmobile. There's also another cop chasing it, but this cop is not going to do so well. He's actually going to get blown up right now. So F's for that cop. So the easiest way of destroying this vehicle is to cut him off here and then drive into him. And now what we'll do is we'll interrogate the driver, hopefully get a lead on Scarecrow's location. So here we're gonna, so one thing is, you might have noticed I quick fired the explosive gel. We're gonna do things with the explosive gel to cancel a lot of animations. I was trying to cancel the animation of him dragging the guy out of the car, but it didn't quite work. It's okay, it happens. So yeah, now basically this guy tells us that Scarecrow's in some safe house in Chinatown, so we're gonna head over there. Spoiler alert, Scarecrow's not actually there. Instead, we're going to find Poison Ivy. So hopefully I can nail this glide. There we go. And then there's going to be some malicious soldiers here. Well, Ivy likes to cheerlead us in this. Alright, so Ivy's here, and what we find out is Ivy is basically immune to Scarecrow's toxin. We find out in that cutscene that we skipped. We decide to escort Ivy to GCPD. She's a supervillain after all, but as we take her to the Batmobile, so we get confronted by some militia soldiers and some tanks. But fortunately, our Batmobile also turns into a tank, so we're going to be able to properly deal with these tanks. So eventually they'll spawn in. Here we go. These tanks are unmanned. Batman doesn't kill anybody, at least in theory. So these tanks are unmanned. So we're not. So this is all perfectly fine within Batman's code. So now we're on our way to GCPD, but first we're going to do these weapons diagnostics, or rather we're going to start them, and then we're going to immediately abort it. There are a few more tanks we're going to deal with, and then we'll take Ivy to GCPD. We have a nice isolation chamber for her, which is honestly one of the best cells in GCPD at the moment, so she should consider herself lucky. So GCPD is over here. So once we get to GCPD, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the evidence room and just snatch one of our old gadgets from there. It's called the remote electrical charge gun. It belongs to us, so the cops don't really care that we're just going into evidence and stealing it. And the reason why we're getting this gadget is that it's going to let us do some skips. The reason why it lets us do some skips is that the animation for firing it is very slow. And what that means is that we're able to actually interrupt the animation of firing it with like other animations. And what that's going to do is that actually, then what happens is after we do that, and then we try to quick fire the remote electrical charge gun, also called the ret gun. If we try to quick fire the ret gun after doing that, the game gets very confused and tries to reposition Batman. And it's going to reposition Batman based on where you last reloaded from checkpoint. And it'll let to effectively teleport across the map. We call it zipping. It probably didn't make too much sense, but you're going to see plenty of instances of this throughout the run. But basically that's why we get this. Now we're being introduced to our side mission system. So there's some missing firefighters, there's a murder victim, and there's also Riddler. Those are the first three. There are like 14 side missions. But this is any percent, so we're going to do exactly 0 of these side missions.
Also, we've had several sightings of the Riddler creeping around the train yard.
We do have to select a side mission, though, at the start. I'd like to select the firefighter one. That's a little bit closer to my mouse cursor.
Anything you can do to help is going to save lives. Don't worry, Jim. I have someone working a lead on Scarecrow. I'll see what I can do. I'll find that missing fire crew.
So there's this guy whose arm we broke at the start. He's locked up here. We can hit his head on the bars. It's very funny. We can interact with him twice, actually, in the run, or in the game. That was the first time, so we'll interact with him later a second time. So now what we're doing is we're heading to the clock tower. On the way there, we talked with someone named Lucius Fox, who's in charge of Batman's gadgets. He's also the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. He's going to enable the afterburner on our Batmobile, which is very useful for going fast in it. And we're heading to the clock tower. This clock tower is basically it's where Barbara lives and where she does all her tech support for us. So we'll interact with this and interact with this computer to find out what Barbara's research is. So in the cutscene that we skip, what we find out is Barbara has taken a sample of Scarecrow's toxin and has broken it down to the core its core components. And so what we're going to try to do is trace the location of those components. The way we're going to do that is we're going to hack 2 antennas in Gotham. So the first antenna is over here at Panessa Studios. And Panessa Studios is a very important location in both the run and in this game in general. So that's where that marker is. We're able to hack this antenna, but we aren't able to actually control it because we aren't able to power it yet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna need some gadget to help power it. So maybe Lucius can help us with that.
The generator's damaged. I need to bypass it and power the antenna directly. Hello again, Mr. Wayne.
So we're gonna get a Batmobile accessory called the Power Winch right here. So our Batwing is gonna drop it off. The Batwing is just our basically flying airplane that it does surveillance and it can deliver gadgets to us. So this Power Winch can do a few things. So one thing that it can do is it can pull down objects like this Urba Rail station sign. It can also pull up makeshift ramps like this one. So I want to be very careful not to fall off here. It loses a lot of time if you do. You can also use the Power Winch to pull yourself up buildings. Like this here. And then you can also finally use it to supply electricity to things, for example, to this antenna. So after we do this, we're going to get a call from Robin. He wants to help us, but we're Batman. We don't need his help. We're too cool for that. Plus, we have been working on something a little bit more important, allegedly. So after this, we'll head on to the second antenna, which is over here where this marker is. So this antenna is guarded by some militia members who also are holding a cop hostage. There's some dialogue here that we can overlap. So what we do is we grapple here, then cancel that grapple, and then grapple back on. And it's going to overlap some dialogue that it's not supposed to overlap. It saves a bit of time. I'm not sure how much. So what this is the introduction to Predator. What Predators are is when people have guns, Batman's supposed to be very sneaky and take these guys out without kind of being spotted because they have guns that can kill you. One thing you can do is a silent takedown, but normally silent takedowns are very slow. But in this category, we can cancel the silent takedowns, so they become very fast. And the nice thing about silent takedowns is that they don't alert anybody when you do them. So normally in Predators it's a trade-off, but with glitches, it becomes much easier. Also, we're playing this on easy, so Predators aren't really a big deal on easy. You aren't gonna die very quickly in it. So now we got a new bat suit. It lets us do things like this fear takedown here. Now we'll rescue this cop and hack this antenna. Oops.
You're safe now. I'll send someone. Oracle.
Okay.
Time to find Scarecrow.
Alright, and now we're going to use the antennas to find the chemicals that are comprising the fear toxin. So we're not sure where these chemicals could be coming from, but on the right side of this map, we're going to get a bird's eye view, and on the right side, there's this thing called Ace Chemicals. I'm going to have this sneaking suspicion that if we point our antennas there, that might yield something.
The radio and microwave frequencies point to
Oh, well, what do you know?
That's where Scarecrow's producing the toxin. Jim, I've traced the fear toxin to Ace Chemicals. That's where we'll find Scarecrow.
Impossible. I've had it
Also, so I know that the game changes your skin back to the default. I will change. There's a point in the run where it's somewhat convenient to change it back, so I will change it back to the 1989 skin at that point. Because it did get $25 for it, so it only feels fair to do that. So now we're heading over to Ace Chemicals. We get there, we talk to Gordon, and then the bridge in front of us is going to get blown up by someone named the Arkham Knight. He's been instructed actually by Scarecrow not to kill Batman, even though he really wants to. That's good for us. We're not going to get killed immediately. Alright, so let's do that.
Any word from inside? Nothing. We think there's a skeleton.
So, then what we can do is we can grapple to the top of Ace Chemicals, and we would get introduced to the Arkham Knight's army. They're like getting into helicopters. But that cutscene's very long, so what we're going to do is actually skip that cutscene. What we're going to do is we're going to go over here, grapple this, cancel it, and then glide over the cutscene trigger. Then once we get into Ace Chemicals, what we're going to try to do is rescue some Ace Chemicals workers. There are 5 of them. The first one's in here. That was not great, but that's okay. This first worker, unfortunately, is dead. So what we're going to do is take our frustrations out on these tanks guarding the entrance. Oh, the reason why that didn't work, I was supposed to get an upgrade, actually. I wanted to get the critical strikes upgrade. I'll get that after I destroy these tanks. So what this does is your punch... So right now my punches do 1 damage, but with critical strikes, if you time your punches correctly, your punches will do 2 damage. Which is... And on easy, that makes fights very fast, a lot faster. It makes it faster on all difficulties, but it's much more directly helpful on easy. So now we're going to the second worker, which is right here. We just shot those guys with our tank. Those are non-lethal rounds. Batman doesn't kill. As we try to rescue this worker, we get confronted by the Arkham Knight, who rappels down right now. He has a lot to say in this cutscene, but we don't really care what he has to say. So what we're going to do is we're going to just remote control our tank and shoot everybody. Arkham Knight runs away because he's a dirty little coward, but the rest of these guys are pretty brave, so they're staying here. So we'll reward their bravery with some non-lethal rounds and rescue this worker.
You're safe now.
I don't know the half of it, Batman. Scarecrow, he was...
Stay calm and tell me what you know.
What this worker tells us is basically Scarecrow's planning on blowing up this chemicals factory in order to cover the entire city with fear gas. That's not good, so we want to stop that. So next what we're going to do, though, before doing that, we're going to rescue the remaining workers. So there are 3 more. 2 of them are dead, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually skip to the 3rd worker, who is alive. We do that by going here, dive rolling here, and there's like a wall that has no collision, so we're able to just literally walk out of bounds and glide out of bounds. So here we're going to glide to this elevator that's in front of us, and that's where the 3rd worker is. So, 3rd worker's right there. He's being bullied by some militia people. We're gonna give them a piece of our mind. Alright, so now we rescue this worker. This worker basically tells us that Scarecrow's in the middle of the chemicals factory. Very cool. We'll head on over there after rescuing the workers. Now this worker's going to get into the elevator, and what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to use the Batmobile to pull this elevator up. But there was a lot, but because there was a lot of setup that we were supposed to do in order to actually do this, so we can't actually pull the elevator up. But what we can do is we can just take this Batmobile, and if we go out over this ramp to Commissioner Gordon, the game thinks right now, for whatever reason, that both workers are in the Batmobile. So you can just rescue them both right now, and we're good. Batman, however, is not in the Batmobile, so what we're going to do is reload from checkpoint, and this is where I'm going to switch the skin back to what you guys redeemed, so or what you guys donated for. So we'll head back, and Batman will now be in the Batmobile. Now we're going to go to the middle of the factory to confront Scarecrow. What this is we're going to skip there, glitch our way there again. That's much faster. We'll do the same thing. We go here. And then we're going to do a fairly precise dive bomb here. We want to get onto this platform up here. And wire walk on this. Then when we turn here, this area is going to load. Then we want to grapple up here to this grapple point before it deloads. Cancel that grapple and then glide over here. And this is going to be where Scarecrow is. So that was easy. There's some guys here, so we'll just quickly take them out. The strat here is very similar on like every difficulty and every category. At least right now. I'm gonna blow this guy up. Non-lethally, of course. Let's take this guy out. Okay. So in Predators on easy, you can kind of just like punch people. You don't take much damage when you get shot. So it's not like easy's kind of ridiculous in terms of way Predators, they kind of just become combat maps. Okay, so Scarecrow's in here. What happens in the cutscene is that Scarecrow tells us Barbara's been kidnapped, and then we kind of freak out. Not very cool. And in that freak out, we let Scarecrow escape. So that's our bad. Not very good on our part. So then Scarecrow locks us in here. This factory is still going to explode and cover the city in fear toxin, so we have to stop that, and we're going to stop that by pulling out some canisters. We're canceling the actual animations for pulling out the canisters, so it looks like here, Batman's like miming in, putting these canisters here to neutralize the toxin. It's kind of funny, I think. So now we will do the second one. Ideally, you cancel 3 of them. Sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't work. Also, if you push these things in too quickly, I'll just push it in too quickly. In one, maybe the next one. If I push it in too quickly, you'll see what happens is the canister actually will like appear. Okay, so here I pushed it in too quickly, so now the canister's gonna just appear out of thin air. It's kind of funny. Oh, and the canister's in Batman's head because his head's so big. It's like kind of funny how that happens. Then we're going to pull out this last one. This last one we can't cancel, so this is the animation that we were skipping by doing that. And then after we pull this up, we're gonna turn around and we're gonna be confronted with Joker, who shoots us. And it's very weird that we're confronted by Joker because we just burned his body at the beginning of the game, so We have this flashback scene. Maybe this flashback scene will tell us what happened. So here we're assuming the role of Commissioner Gordon. We've been summoned to Panessa Studios. We don't know why, but there is this VIP elevator. We're pretty important, so we're going to just walk there.
Great. How the hell am I supposed to get in?
I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, yeah, we have voice access for whatever reason. That's just how important we are. And then, so we'll head down this elevator. So if you recall from the beginning of the game, Joker had a blood infection and he injected Batman with his blood and sent his blood to hospitals around the city. What happened after Arkham City was that Batman and Commissioner Gordon went around and tried to collect all that blood to stop it from being transfused into people. But unfortunately, they missed some. So what happened is now Batman has basically kidnapped these people who have Joker blood in them and has put them in these isolation chambers. There are 4 of them here. There are 5 chambers, but 4 people. So this is Henry Adams. He looks pretty normal. That's Christina Bell, Johnny Charisma, and Albert King. They're turning into Joker. And basically what Batman's trying to do is he's trying to use Henry Adams to try to cure these 3 people of their Joker syndrome. Because Henry Adams is symptomless. And then Gordon correctly notices that there's a 5th cell that's empty. And the empty cell is actually for Batman, because Batman is worried that he might turn into Joker as well. And now that Batman's been exposed to the fear toxin, every time he gets exposed to fear toxin, he becomes more and more Joker-like. Yeah, that whining noise, someone upstairs is drilling something. It's very annoying. Doesn't usually happen. Anyways, so Joker makes a good point that we do need to exit this factory before it explodes, so we're going to just do that. There's some people there. The reason why they're there is because we skipped the part where we take them out. Just ignore them. They're let's call them hallucinations. This factory's about to explode, and when they explode, when it explodes, it doesn't kill them. We can just pretend. Yeah, those guys are fine. So now what's going to happen is we need to go. So Barbara is still kidnapped. We're going to go tell Commissioner Gordon that she's kidnapped. We're debating whether or not to tell him that Barbara works for us. We don't know how he's going to react to that. Oops.
Alfred, analyze the militia forces, troop deployments, equipment, movements.
So in general, the general principle in this game is that driving is faster than gliding. But in this case, you'd rather glide. One is because there's this predator on the way. We're intended to do this predator later, but we can actually do it now. So that's one thing. And the other thing is there are actually tanks that will... Oops. I don't know why I did that. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get something called storage. So basically what that is you aim and fire the ret gun, and then quick fire a batarang. So like I said, when you interrupt the animation of aiming and firing the ret gun, the game gets confused later on when you try to quick fire it and ends up teleporting you across the map. So we're going to use that to our advantage pretty soon in about like 5 minutes or less. So here we're going to tell Gordon about Barbara. We're going to then go to the clock tower to see if there's any like evidence of where they took Barbara. On the way, we're going to be confronted by some militia vehicles, so we're going to have to take them out.
no way you could have predicted this.
Yeah, sorry about the drilling. I don't know what my upstairs neighbors are doing.
The whole thing's gone down on my watch.
So here, when you take these guys out, you want to take them out before the Arkham Knight finishes talking. So I did that. In fact, I did that very early. It's actually not great to do it too early, because then what happens is Gordon will usually turn to the left, which is a little bit farther. Like it's not like on the way to where we want to go next. Sometimes I like try to push him like closer, but I don't think it does anything. So I want to get into this marker. I guess it kind of did something. That marker was a little bit closer. So it's kind of funny when Gordon gets into this Batmobile, his head sticks out because of big head mode. And here Alfred's gonna basically tell us. So here Gotham City comprises of 3 islands, and Alfred's gonna tell us how many tanks are on each island. But we don't really care. So what we're gonna do is just skip his dialogue. So we just go here, starts talking. Yeah, shut up, Alfred. And go here. Yeah, shut up, Alfred. And yeah, Alfred, we don't need to hear this.
Thanks, Alfred.
And that's a keyboard only dialogue skip. You can't skip that dialogue on controller. So now we're heading to the clock tower. There's some tanks there, so we'll just fight them first. Alright, so we'll take that and that. So, now we'll head to the clock tower. And here, when we get in, we're going to be treated to a nice flashback scene with Barbara. So here, you see Barbara's sitting in a chair and she can actually walk. Normally, she's paralyzed. This is a flashback scene. So here she foolishly doesn't look through her peephole before opening the door, and is confronted by Joker wearing a flashback hat. He shoots her in the back and paralyzes her. There are also some fish here who don't really fare too well. Yeah, Joker makes a very tasteless joke that I don't really think is as funny as he thinks it is. Yeah, and then he leaves. So,
Your father gets home, he's going to be furious about all this mess.
So now what we're gonna do is we want to spawn in the actual clock tower interior. There's gonna be some text on the wall that spawns in, and now we spawned it in. So what happens now is Gordon's gonna come in. We tell him that Barbara works for us. Gordon punches us in the face, then leaves to go find Barbara himself. So that's one plot point. Then we spend the next we're supposed to spend the next 20 minutes of the game tracking Barbara. We track her to Miyagani Island, do a Predator. We have to deal with the Riddler for a bit. We track Oracle to some tunnel. Arkham Knight escapes from that tunnel with Oracle. Then we interrogate some guy, find out Penguin's involved, and then we talk with Nightwing to track Penguin. So what we're going to do is skip all of that and go to Penguin directly. Skips about 25 minutes off the glitchless run, and the way we do that is by zipping out of the clock tower. So basically, because we got that storage from doing that thing with the ret gun, we're able to teleport ourselves out of the clock tower. And now we're gonna head to Penguin. So Penguin is over here. And there's actually like a door to the Penguin's hideout. It's normally closed until you trigger a very specific story point. So what we're gonna have to do is actually glitch our way through that door. Fortunately, it's not very hard. You just you get corner cover here and then do that. And now we can confront Penguin.
What do we do about the bat?
Yeah, so this is like, this skips a very big chunk of the game. Normally in a glitchless run, you would be doing this at about an hour and like 10 minutes or so.
I'll break every bone in your body, Cobblepot. I was going to say something. He's a ghost.
Alright, so here we find out about that our next lead is someone named Simon Stagg. Simon Stagg has these airships. We're gonna head over there after this. But Penguin's gonna escape, and we're gonna be in a bit of trouble here. Now, in order to get here, in the story, Nightwing basically told us what trucks to track in order to come here, and then we told Nightwing basically to screw off. But Nightwing obviously doesn't do that. What he does, he actually comes in and saves us. Batman's never going to thank him. He's going to claim he has everything under control, but this doesn't really look like he has everything under control. On behalf of Batman, I'm very thankful for Nightwing. Anyways, so there's a ton of guys here we're going to fight. And this is like where our critical strikes come in handy, because these guys get knocked out faster. And then Penguin has a weapons cache in here, so Penguin likes to sell weapons. That's like one of his. That's how, I guess, how he makes his money. Batman likes to always destroy weapons caches. So we have to close this vault door. You can actually cancel closing this animation to close it, but it's really difficult. I have not been able to consistently do it. I get it maybe like 1 out of 20 times on average. So yeah, it's hard. I didn't get it. I've gotten it in a marathon before, but yeah, definitely not now. So we blow that up. And now we want to get out of here, but the door is still closed, so we need to glitch our way out. So we're going to do that by doing this. So what I just did was a door cancel. Basically, it lets you open doors, but stay inside the area that you're trying to leave. And so the area is now deloaded. It's a very nice thing to be able to do for this. And so now we can glitch our way out of bounds. And then we go over here and take these guys out. It's kind of funny, the dialogue says he's in his car. The reason why is we're supposed to take these guys out with by shooting them with our Batmobile, but we did it in a non-intended way. It's just kind of like a funny little thing. We have to take out those sentries, and then now we will head over to Stagg's airships, which are right there. They're attached to a watchtower. So we're gonna have to deal with the watchtower first. The watchtower is basically just a predator. We'll do that. I think the new gliding movement, I'm not very used to it, but it's like, yeah, I messed it up. Something like this. Okay, this is, let's grapple on this. Okay. Not the greatest movement, but that's okay. And yeah, this is my voice. Alright, so do this predator. I got spotted by a drone. That's actually really, really annoying. They can actually kill you on easy if you're not careful. Yeah, so I'm like trying to be a little careful, not because I'm afraid of dying, but because like here I'm not being careful. But before I was being careful, it's mostly because I want those two guys clustered together. And if you're a bit too loud or not careful, when you take those guys down, then those guys might split apart and it actually is a little bit slower. So so now we destroy this watchtower and we want to get into Stag's airship, but it's password protected. So what we're gonna do is we need something to be able to hack that. So we have something called the remote hacking device, which is coincidentally in this building right next to Stag's airship. That's a major coincidence. So very convenient. So let's just grab that. I think Lucius claims that he's clairvoyant for putting it in here. So you see the evidence, you do it. So now what we're supposed to do is we're eventually gonna go in here and find Stag. Then what happens is we have a hallucination, and then we lose Stag, and he goes to the other airship. But the militia takes him to the other airship, and then we're supposed to do a predator in here, and then do a fight, then another fight, and then destroy some turrets on the other airship, and then we go to the other airship and do a predator. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip to that predator on that other airship in kind of a weird way. So first, this is all intended right now. So nothing really special here. But then what's going to happen is we want to tilt that and break that window over there. That's going to be very important soon. Then when we get in here, what we're going to do is reload from checkpoint. The reason why is you remember I mentioned that you're able to zip across the map or teleport, and where exactly you teleport depends on where you last reloaded from checkpoint. So if you reload in the overworld, you teleport relative to a place relative to the overworld. Whereas if you reload in Stag's airship, you teleport to a place relative to Stag's airship. We call that the default coordinates, and basically you teleport to the default coordinates of where you last reloaded. So now what we're going to do is we're going to trigger this save point, and now it's going to be funny. We're going to exit the airship. We're exiting the airship so that we can go back in to the second airship. So what we're going to do is we're going to glide very far out, because what we need to do now is get storage, and the closest gargoyle, unfortunately, is right here, on this church here. So we're going to get our storage, and then now what we're going to do is glide on over to an area that basically we're gliding to a place that's far enough away to unload the airship, but close enough so that when we glide to, so what we're doing is we're in the back of the second airship right now, but then when we glide through here, eventually this airship is going to load. So yeah, it's loading now. So we were close enough so that the airship could actually load in when we glide here. So now we need to get in. We're like in the ceiling. Fortunately, we can actually just drop down in here, and now go inside the actual tunnel. And now we can go do the predator. Oh, here we find out that Stag's been doing human experimentation, which isn't very cool. Stag is not a good guy, but talk with Alfred. So then we do this predator. So on easy, this predator is On hard, there's like a very cool strat for doing this predator, like another glitch. But I'm not going to do that here. It's actually slower to do that glitch on easy. On average, so... Also, we have something called the one-hit KO, so now I'm able to like take out guys in one punch. And you can also see that bullets do like very little damage on easy. On hard, I would have been killed like in 5 seconds. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lure this minigunner to this generator here, so I can blow him up. That's the fastest way of dealing with him. And yeah, that's that predator. So very fast on easy. In glitchless hard, this is like a really difficult predator. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to get storage here. It's hard to remember. You get storage there because we're gonna need it in about 20 minutes. A very long time from now. And so now we get to the front of the airship and we see 2 scarecrows. We're hallucinating 2 scarecrows. We're gonna see if we can pick the correct one and trigger the good ending and end this run. End this run right now, well under estimate. Let's see if we get the good luck. Oh, fortunately we got the wrong scarecrow, so now we've been gassed. And this is a fairly long cutscene, so this is a good time to read any donations or call-outs that we want to do.
Unfortunately, we don't have any new donations, but I'll briefly talk about the charity we're raising money for. Sweet Relief, a musicians fund, provides financial assistance to all types of career musicians who are struggling to make ends meet while facing illness, disability, or age-related problems. In other words, healing musicians in need. They help musicians with medical and vital living expenses, including insurance premiums, prescriptions, medical treatment, and operative procedures, housing costs, food costs, utilities, and other basic necessities. So it's a wonderful charity. There's still one bid war to put money towards, so get your donations in.
Awesome, yeah, thanks. It's a great cause. Yeah, everyone's struggling in the pandemic, so really glad that this cause is a thing. So as you recall earlier, every time we get gas, we start turning into Scarecrow or start turning into Joker more and more. And the key thing is that Batman's eyes turn green when that happens. So here, yeah, so Batman's even talking like Joker and hallucinating a lot of Jokers everywhere. This fight is very annoying. It's like very weird. It's like... Alright, there we go.
Such brutality.
And then this scene is actually, this cutscene here is very funny in Big Head mode. Joker and Batman get very the Jokers and Batman get very intimate. So intimate that Joker's head goes into Batman's head. Yeah, Big Head mode has some very funny features with this.
Something's changed. You're different.
I'd prefer to call it a work in progress, but it does show potential.
You're trapped. There's nowhere to run.
Yeah, so here Scarecrow escapes yet again. He claims he's not running away, but this pretty much looks like running to me. Then Arkham Knight tries to shoot Batman with a rocket launcher. We'll skip that cutscene, but Batman's Batman, so he dodges it, no problem. Well, a little problem. He's like a little bit shaken up right now. So after this, what happens is we get a call from Scarecrow saying that Barbara is in that Chinatown safe house that we found Ivy in. So we're gonna head on over there.
Alfred, he's holding Oracle at the safe house in Chinatown.
So it's over there at that marker. And then, yeah. So here what happens in this cutscene that we skip is that Barbara gets gassed with fear toxin, and then there's like a gun on the table next to her, so she shoots herself in the head. So Barbara is now dead, 100% dead, like no possibility of her being alive at all. Batman's not happy. Alfred's trying to focus him. So Stag has created something called the Cloudburst, which does exactly what it sounds like. It creates a burst of clouds. I don't know if that was evident, and that's going to be used to actually cover the whole city in fear gas. So now what we're going to spend the next bunch of the game doing is trying to find the Cloudburst. Also, after this, as a contingency, what Batman also realizes is that Ivy is immune to Scarecrow's toxin. So if the gas gets released, we want to have a way of neutralizing it as easily as, or as much as possible. So we are going to go to Ivy to find out how to do that. Limsocrit, how are you here in MSSF? This is good.
Alfred, run a satellite scan of the city. Let me know the instant you locate the Cloudburst.
Of course, Sam. Where are you going?
GCPD. Ivy was immune to Scarecrow's toxin.
You think she will help?
She doesn't.
So what Ivy's going to tell us is she is able to create spores that counteract the toxin. But by herself, she won't be able to create enough. She needs the help of some plants. So we're going to basically take her to a plant. One such plant is at the Botanical Gardens. All right, let's see if I can make this jump. There we go. Sometimes I fall in the water there because I don't like that camera, or I don't have enough speed. So if you recall, also there's that guy whose arm we broke at the beginning. We hit his head on the bars earlier. We can interact with him again, and what happens is he like gets scared and hits his head on the toilet. It's very funny. Go in here, talk to Aaron Cash. He's one of the cops.
What the hell happened on that airship?
Scarecrow took the Cloudburst.
And then we talk to Ivy.
I need your help.
From where I'm standing.
So we're taking Ivy to the Botanical Gardens, but on the way there we encounter this big tank, and unlike other tanks, we aren't able to actually just shoot it, because it's very heavily armored. So we're gonna have to find out what's up with it and how we can destroy it.
That's the left side scan.
Just scan it. Oops.
Need to find a better angle. That's the rear scan. I just need to scan the right side. The Cobra drone has an applied shreds in just a few shots.
Okay.
And its armor.
So now we scanned it. You're supposed to, casually, you're supposed to scan it like from vantage points, but you can actually just get right next to it and scan it. Then what I'm doing is you're supposed to go back to the Batmobile, but if you go here and remote control the Batmobile, it's a little bit faster to come here and destroy that. So here we're supposed to get a Batmobile upgrade, but you're supposed to first select the Batmobile upgrade and then you get it later in the game, and we actually skipped all of the points where we select the Batmobile upgrades. So what we're getting is a fake sonar that doesn't work. It's just kind of funny. What if he captures Man-Bat before Ivy? You can't do that. The game doesn't let you.
The botanical garden.
So now we're going to head on over to Miyagani Island. That's where the botanical gardens are. The thing is that we're supposed to actually go over a bridge, but we actually skipped the part of the game where you actually lower the bridge. I'm also getting an upgrade. This is Cobra Lure, very useful.
To take them out.
I'm going to use it a lot in Cobra battles. So, yeah, and we're going to have to do this Cobra tank battle. This is the easy Cobra tank battle. Cobra tank battles are very annoying in this run. There's a lot of RNG involved. Where's the guy? So that's the Cobra Lure. Basically, if you shoot a wall near where the Cobra is, then it'll get lured there. Oops. You can use that to kind of control the RNG. Oh, well, I didn't. I was trying to be a bit cheeky there, and it didn't quite work out. It happens. Oh, trying to be cheeky again. Yeah, the problem with Cobras is that even on easy, they can two-shot you when you don't have armor. Okay, there we go. Wait. There we go. Oh, what? Okay, this is kind of bad now. Let's, This is like the easy Cobra battle, so it's not great, but this is not a good sign of things to come. But it's okay. We should be able to get this. Oops. Okay, there we go. Finally. So now we take Ivy. We took Ivy to the botanical gardens. And now, basically what Ivy tells us is that she's not able to use, not even this plant is enough. She needs more plants in order to help produce enough spores. But the plants that are powerful enough for that are all buried deep underground, so she doesn't know where, she can't find them. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a real sonar this time. That's going to help us, it's going to help us locate these plants for Ivy.
I thought you were here already, Mr. Wayne. Must be a glitch in the system. I'll get that checked immediately. Mr. Wayne.
But when we get here, we get confronted by some tanks. So we'll give them the typical Wayne Tower hospitality. So, last two. Oops.
That appears to be the last of them, Mr. Wayne. Your upgrade's ready for collection. Latest in ground penetrating sonar.
Alright, so now we're gonna go use our sonar to find the plant. So, oh no, oh, you don't want to aggro tanks like that.
I'm ready for
That's okay. Hopefully this works out.
Ivy. I found a way to track the root systems beneath Gotham.
Okay, good.
They'll take you where you need to go.
And then these militia people try to shoot down Ivy's plants, so we're gonna stop them. Alright, so now what we're going to do is head on over to Panessa Studios, because now we have these plants in place in case the toxin gets released. So now we're going to try to find the cloudburst. And we're going to go to Panessa Studios to look at our analysis of the Batwing. Robin is also in Panessa Studios. He's the one, basically what we have him doing is trying to use Henry Adams to get the cure, to basically cure the Joker syndrome. We haven't told Robin that Barbara's dead, which is not really cool of us because they're engaged to be married. So Alfred here is warning us that we should probably tell him. It's probably a good idea. Hey, Thar. So we'll do that. And now we're going to pick up this gadget here. This is the, freeze grenade. This is the second most important gadget. It's going to let us do, it's like the rec gun. It also has a very slow animation, which lets us also interrupt animations. We're going to see that. So now here what we're going to do is we got storage and stag in order to do this zip right here. So now we've zipped into the overworld. The entire overworld is unloaded, so that's pretty funny. And what happened is basically we're not able to use our Batwing to track the cloudburst because there's a missile launcher on Founders Island. So protecting the missile launcher are also two relay towers. So what we're going to do is destroy those relay towers and then destroy the missile launcher. And we're going onto this drone to look at this, two radar towers. And this is a relay drone that is able to communicate with all the other drones in the city. So what we're going to use, we pulled something from it and we're going to use it to blind drones. This is just a useful thing we can do. Because, for example, there's a drone that's guarding this first radar tower. So we'll blind it. Oops.
I need to destroy the radar before the drone comes back online.
So this is the first radar tower. Then we'll do the second one. The second one is guarded by some guys that we're supposed to fight. But what we can do though is we don't have to fight them. What we do is we get into detective vision, and then okay, well it's okay. Then we can go glitch through the floor and destroy this radar tower. So. Unfortunately, these doors here are closed. So what we have to do is get in the corner cover here, and then we can grapple on out of here. It's a nice. It's a kind of an annoying skip, but I've gotten better at it. I don't know how I've gotten better at it, but I have. So now we'll destroy the missile launcher. There's a predator here that we do. Again, predators on easy, you just kind of punch people. So now the armor on the missile launcher is too thick for us. We're gonna need our Batmobile to destroy it. So we're gonna lower the bridges to bring our Batmobile over. Unfortunately, there are some Cobras here, so we're gonna have to fight them first. This Cobra battle is annoying, but it's okay. We'll get through it together. Let's try to lure this Cobra on over there, and then I want to missile barrage him. That's not great. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you can see I'm using Cobra Lure a lot. Alright, then we'll just wait. We'll just chill, wait for this guy to drive down. Try to lure him as well. Okay, there we go. That was cool. Yeah, so now we're gonna try to destroy the missile launcher, but the Arkham Knight has brought some soldiers also to try to stop us. So we'll deal with them. They're not so tough. And also Arkham Knight's here. We have some questions for him, so maybe we can ask them. Alright, I want to... So here, we'll take down 3 guys very quickly. I want to take down... I definitely want to try to take down this medic. There we go. And then I'm going to get a combat upgrade, which is the multi-ground takedown. It's very nice for making fights a lot faster. Basically, if you knock people onto the floor, you can take them out. So here we're asking a question. Arkham Knight doesn't really give us a very good answer, so that's okay. We'll deal with, and then he runs away. So we'll deal with these guys who didn't run away, who aren't cowards. So that's the multi-ground takedown. It's very, very nice. Keyboard and mouse. I do everything with keyboard and mouse except for a few things. There are things I do with controller. I use both. Like there's some glitches that like door cancels are much easier on controller. But yeah, generally like tank battles are much easier on keyboard and mouse. So we'll destroy the missile launcher. And combat gliding is much easier on keyboard and mouse. Allegedly combat's easier on controller, but it's perfectly fine on keyboard and mouse as well. No, I did like a run on keyboard on only controller before, and I had a hard time with it. Anyway, so the missile launcher is destroyed. So now we have a Batwing flying over. So we're going to look to see what the analysis is on that. And this is a long cutscene, so this could also be a good time if there's any donations or.
Sorry, no donations still, but I'll do a quick shout out to our organization. Midwest Speed Fest is a Minnesota-based organization that has been hosting speedrun marathons since 2015. In the summer and winter, we partner with PeakCon and VGMCon respectively to help raise money for their chosen charities and bring even more entertainment to the conventions. Additionally, we host 1 or 2 online marathons each year, this one being one of them, also in support of charity. Actually, sorry, not this one. Other online ones we do, sorry. So far, we've raised over $35,000 for various charities, and we hope to see that number continue to grow exponentially with your support.
Yeah, awesome, thanks. Yeah, so here's a cutscene. We find out actually, so Harley Quinn, she was Joker's girlfriend back when he was alive. She's infiltrated the movie studios, and Robin's in trouble. We're gonna have to go rescue him.
Harley Quinn.
So you do remember me. That's weird. Because you killed the only thing I ever loved. And now I find you've been keeping a whole new generation of Jokers to yourself. I know. Awkward.
Don't do it. They're not stable.
Oh, they're not stable? Maybe you want to take a look in the mirror sometime.
Alfred, I need to get to the movie.
So we're gonna head to Panessa. What we're supposed to do is, so we're gonna do a fight, which we'll generally do, but then after that, we need to take the elevator down to the lower level part of Panessa, and we actually can't do that because we did a glitch earlier where we zipped out of Panessa, and for whatever reason, the game has decided that that elevator stays down there. It never like went back up because of that glitch. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to glitch our way to the bottom of Panessa. But first, we'll do this fight here. The way to do this fight is you basically lure everybody back to this generator, and then blow them up. That's normally you can, sometimes you can blow up all of them. I have trouble with blowing up all of them. We need to open this door. We can't hardly change the voice code access. This is the door to the elevator. And what's supposed to happen is we're supposed to do a predator after and then go down the elevator, but like I mentioned, we can't do that. So what we're going to do is, so this is all intended. We're going to use the voice synthesizer to open the door. We're going to be able to synthesize Harley's voice. We obtained like something called a voice modulator earlier in the game, except we actually didn't because we skipped that part. But that is a thing that we can now do. We can synthesize people's voices to open things. So now we're going to unlock this, but we're not going to actually go through the door. What we're going to do is glide over here. And this wall over here has no collision. So we're going to glide right through it and grapple up here. And now we're going to try to get through, we're going to open the door from the other side. Then we'll open it here and open it here. Then we want to wait for this door to open. Otherwise the elevator doesn't despawn. But now the whole overworld is unloaded and the elevator's unloaded. So now we're going to glide into the bottom of Panessa Studios, which is right here. Oops. And then run in here. We're not going to fight these guys. We just want to trigger a specific Robin dialogue. And then what we're going to do is glide. There's a door over there, and we're going to just glide on over to it. We can glide to this side of the door, and then we can, oops, cancel it. So now there are 3 Jokers. So there's Christina Bell. We're going to rescue Christina Bell first. So
If we work together, you'll know when you see it.
now over here, what we're gonna do after we take this minigunner out is we're gonna go get storage, which we're gonna use.
Back there. I was testing
little bit later.
Did I pass?
Practice. Come on.
Grapple cancel is usually better than the grapnel boost, especially here in this category. You don't have the grapnel boost for, but it depends. So we'll do this predator. It's really funny when you cancel these animations and it like looks like you're just like tapping them on the shoulder and they get knocked out. I find it funny. Alright, so now these last four guys. Yeah, so tap this guy on the shoulder, tap this guy on the shoulder, fear takedown. Oh, whoops. Alright, and now we're going to go to Christina Bell. So here you want to counter because you're going to switch to Robin, and if you don't counter, Christina Bell will claw Robin's face. Fun fact, you do lose health, but you won't actually die. You'll just have like a sliver of health left if you let Christina Bell claw Robin's face for too long. Alright, so now we're going to head to the next Joker, but we're going to glitch our way there actually. So we're going to use our freeze grenade and use it to help clip out of bounds like that. So this next one is Albert King. Normally this Albert King fight is very slow, very long, especially in glitchless, but what we can do is just battering that right there, and Albert King is dead, so now that fight's very fast. Oh. Yeah, but now you can see Albert King's in the middle, and he's like not doing anything. And yeah, now that fight's over, so.
Nice work. Really held your own just now.
So now we're gonna head to Johnny Charisma, and we're gonna glitch our way there. So we go over here. So, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna now do our first Jason cutscene. There's supposed to be 3 Jason cutscenes, but because of the glitches that we did, we're only gonna watch 2 of them. So this is the first one that we watch.
Jason.
And, yeah, so Jason Todd was one of the previous Robins. And he was kidnapped by Joker and then tortured.
It's not coming to save you, Jason.
So this is a flashback scene to when Jason was tortured. Yeah, so big head mode, it's usually, yeah, I made it an incentive this time. Sometimes I just do it. I know my chat loves big head mode. I personally don't like it that much. By the way, I think I have to, I'm gonna have to actually commit a very grave sin. I'm sorry about this. I'm gonna have to turn off big head mode for about a minute pretty soon. I'm really sorry about this. I know there's a $25 or there's $120 to big head mode, but no, it doesn't affect hitboxes. It doesn't affect anything. It's purely cosmetic.
I didn't want to show you that photo. Really, I didn't. But, well, it was the only way for you to...
It also makes their hands bigger.
Now, I know it hurts, but sometimes you gotta be cruel to be kind.
Alright, so now we'll head to Johnny Charisma. So Johnny Charisma is a singer, and basically what he's done is he's locked this door here, and behind a mechanical lock. So we have to open it, and the problem is that with big head mode, I can't actually see the keypad that I need to use to unlock it. So I have to turn off big head mode because I'm not good at doing this part blindfolded.
I need you to send me the CCTV footage from the camera.
So unfortunately, I have to turn big head mode off, but I fully intend to turn it back on after I enter this code. So here you're supposed to like look in a mirror, like look at in a mirror and like figure out the code. You can also enter the incorrect code in 5 times, and Batman will just break the door open. But the actual code for this is 0539, and that's what that is that's a reference to May of 1939, which is when the first Batman comic was released. So I'm gonna just enter the code incorrect properly. So 0539. All right, so now this is Johnny Charisma, and he's gonna basically sing to us while Robin defuses some bombs. So fun fact about this scene is that Mark Hamill voices the Joker. We're gonna actually have Joker sing for us, and Mark Hamill didn't actually want to do this game or play the voice of Joker in this game because it's very hard on his voice. But then when he found out he had this singing solo, he agreed to do it. So.
Through it all, you never smiled. Joke on you. I'm in your head, so look who's laughing now. Remembering Arkham City. I killed your girl.
Alright, so here we just need to stay out of the spotlight. We can be in Joker's peripheral vision, and it literally doesn't matter so long as we're out of the spotlight.
That's when I knew.
So, trying to defuse these bombs.
And I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead, and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I am the cloud.
And generally, like, so long as you defuse this bomb before that light, like, passes, that's, like, about as fast as you can do it. We haven't found, like, a faster way of doing this. It's a pretty flexible cycle, so it's not really difficult at all.
And he's a professional singer. Even Alfred thinks better than this guy.
So we'll head out here.
Robin, wait here.
Oops. And so there's a minigunner here. We were supposed to have taken him out, but because we glitched our way here, the minigunner is still there. So we'll just freeze him. He won't bother us. So we'll try to manipulate this guy to open this gate. Harley is too smart for that. We told Robin to stay back, but obviously Robin doesn't listen to us. The jerk. So, fun fact, Harley actually will kill Robin in this if you wait long enough. So, and then if you try to exit the grate, Batman says, I shouldn't break cover, Harley could kill Robin, so in runs I just like to spam that the whole time. Eventually you counter Harley when she gets between you and Robin. And then you can fight these guys.
I'm irresistible. We need to get back to the cell. Take ground. I've got the
So now when we take Harley back in, what happens? We're gonna skip an entire cutscene. First of all, there are gonna actually be guys here that aren't supposed to be there because we skipped that fight. That's gonna look really funny. Then what happens is, it turns out Henry Adams is actually not symptomless. He actually is a Joker, and what he does is he kills all of the other Jokers to quote-unquote purify the gene pool. Then he's about to kill Batman and Robin, but then he sees Batman's eyes turn green, and basically he realizes that Batman is actually going to become the strongest Joker. So Henry then shoots himself instead. Logical, right? Harley's devastated. We lock her in the cell, and then Robin makes a very good point that, hey, Batman, if you aren't able to stop Scarecrow and you turn into a Joker, like, you'll be unstoppable. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. You should lock yourself up in this cell. So Batman is doing that, and Robin's gonna go out and stop Scarecrow. By the way, we still haven't told Robin about Barbara being dead.
Sorry, Bruce, but it's the only way. I know, Tim.
So it's really funny how these guys are like here, because this is normally like a very serious scene, but it just becomes really ridiculous with these guys here.
Converging at your location. It's the Arkham Knight. He's found you.
I'll take care of it, Alfred.
Are you sure? There are rather a lot of them.
I said I'll handle it. You'll be fine. Of course I will. You train me.
Usually that guy isn't so close, but it's kind of annoying actually with these guys here because they kind of block you from like walking into the next cutscene. So anyways, now what we're trying to do is we're trying to spawn in Jason Todd and Joker. So that's why I'm jerking the camera around.
Don't worry about Robin.
Then there's our cowl should be on here, but because of big head mode, it's actually like underneath the bed. It's very weird. So it's gonna be kind of funny when you look at this. He's gonna like pick his mask, his cowl up from like that. So it doesn't quite work with the proportions. So anyways, we'll walk around these guys into the cutscene. And then these guys are all gonna run in. It's really funny. Yeah, just the reason why these thugs are here is because there was a fight we were supposed to have done, but we ended up skipping it. So.
Jason Todd.
Who do you hate?
Batman.
Excellent. Of course you do. Did you get that, Bats? Kid's not yours anymore. He's mine. Mine. To do with as I wish. Hey, I never asked. What's the big secret? Who is the big bad bat? His name. Tell me.
Of course, sir. It's
Yeah, so Joker ends up killing Jason Todd. So Jason Todd is 100% dead. No way that he's alive, just like Barbara. And so now what happens is all of this is in Batman's head. So Batman never actually got into the cell. He's just thinking about, like, if he gets into the cell, what will happen to Robin? And he realizes nothing good will happen to Robin, so he decided to lock Robin in the cell instead. And by the way, we still haven't told him that Barbara's dead. You actually, now that we lock him in, you actually can go up to him and tell him that Barbara's dead, which is just a horrible thing to do. But more importantly, it's also slow, so I'm not going to do that. But,
Yeah, time for a donation. We got one.
Oh, sure, yeah.
We have a donation of $60 from code M457312. I just caught the VOD of the IADX Infamous. Here's to the 4 PBs and the 2 songs Fox failed. Keep up the awesome work.
Nice. Awesome. Glad to hear about the donation. Okay, so here what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to get a Batmobile upgrade, then we go to Ivy, fight some tanks, and then the Cloudburst actually releases the gas all over the city. So then after that happens, we're supposed to then go to Stag's airship again to see if Stag can like help us get rid of the gas and destroy the Cloudburst. Oh, whoops. But we're going to skip all of that. We're going to ghost to Stag directly. The skip is called Cloudless because what happens is the cloud, we never actually do the cutscene where the clouds actually get released. So the game will think we're going to be in this weird state. Oh, whoops. Let's so we reload here. So the game's going to be in this weird state where like the game's going to think the clouds have been released in terms of the story, but in terms of like there actually being gas, there's going to be no gas. So so they're actually like there's the only category that even has gas in it is glitchless. That's kind of funny. So anyways, we're going to do this Predator. I like to blind that drone. I don't think I do this Predator particularly optimally, but it's very safe. Well, never mind. Okay, and then where are these guys going? Oh, there they are. Alright, Stag's in here. Well, that's funny. I actually got a gold this split. Alright, so the door to get out of here is actually locked. We were supposed to have unlocked it if we had done this the normal way, but we can't actually use that door, and the other door is too slow. So what we're going to do is zip on out of here. So we'll get our storage, and then now we're going to do probably the most complicated skip in the game. It's called Port Adam skip. So what happened is Stag gave us something called the Nimbus cell because our Batmobile doesn't work, and that's going to help us repair our Batmobile and not be affected by the gas when we're in the Batmobile. Then we're supposed to go through some subway tunnels in order to unleash Ivy's plant to help get rid of as much fear toxin, because the Ivy's current plants aren't good enough for it. What we're going to do is we're going to skip to the very end of the tunnel, but ironically the first thing we do to do that is we glitch on into the tunnel. So this is the beginning of the tunnel.
What do you seek in those tunnels, Batman? Hope you will find none.
Then we'll glitch on out.
Terra in chemistry. I thought that it came. How did you come rallying to the aid of a city she despises? Threats, blackmail, charm.
So then we're gonna go get some storage here, because we're gonna want to do a zip. And then grapple up here. Alright, now we're going to replace the Nimbus cell. So it's going to be very funny. This is supposed to be an epic cutscene where Batman dives into the gas, but there is no gas. There is gas, but there isn't. It's just really funny. And then Batman's like choking on gas that doesn't exist because he's just really weak-minded, I guess. Yeah, right there. counter that guy. Some of those guys are in the background are going to turn into jokers. Not all of them, though.
Stay calm. Take deep, slow breaths. Deep, slow breaths.
You want to push this thing in before Joker starts singing his lullaby. See if I can. I think I'm going to do that very comfortably. Yeah, there we go. So the reason why we glitched into the subway entrance is that when we're in the subway, we're able to exit the Batmobile. And when that part of the subway is loaded. So now what we're going to do is right now, when we're in our Batmobile, we can't exit. So what we want to do is we want to be able to exit that by loading in the front of that tunnel. And we're not able to load that front of that tunnel in until we've actually entered it once. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drive to a very specific point in order to reload that point of that part of the tunnel. And then we'll be able to exit the Batmobile. So where that is we drive here, and we're supposed to then, and after that, we're gonna go try to scan Ivy's plant, which is underneath the church. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna be able to exit the Batmobile after about like 7 seconds. You don't have to I like do it until I actually exit just to make sure. That's wastes like 2 seconds, but that's just what I like to do. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to unleash Ivy's plant, but it's too deep underground, which is why we need to go to the subway. Yeah, so it's too deep. Now we are going to go... Now we're going to go glitch our way to the end of the tunnel. Alright, so let's... So we go back to this light post here.
It's a start. Send me the location.
And recall we got storage before, so after we get back into the front of the subway tunnel, we're going to do a zip.
You cannot hide, Ms. Isley.
So now so talk to Ivy. So now we do a zip, and now what we're going to do is glide to the end of the tunnel. The end of the tunnel is we'll see when we get there. So the one annoying thing about this skip is that there are these cobras that we're going to be fighting later, and they're spawned in right now, and they can actually like prevent us from doing the skip properly if we're unlucky. So we're going to see if I get unlucky. It's okay, there are backups in case that happens, but I'll be forced to do those, which will take some time. Looks like we're probably going to be getting lucky. So now this is the end of one of the ends of the tunnel. So we loaded it in, try to unload the rest of the tunnel, and then so we go here. Look this way, call the Batmobile, which should be coming from this way. That's good. And now what we want to do is we want to spawn the Batmobile inside of this tunnel. So, which is the way we do that is we go over here and very carefully just have the Batmobile go off the edge. So the Batmobile is now going to spawn inside of the tunnel, and now we want to do another deep scan of Ivy's plant, but we can't do that. So what we're going to do is go here. And reload from checkpoint. And this is going to give us another opportunity to do a scan. If you don't reload from checkpoint, you're not going to be able to do another scan. That's how the game works for whatever reason. Oh, what? Okay. So Ivy's plant is right here. And then Ivy's plant is now unleashed in the churchyard. So now we're going to do a tank battle. So the fun fact about this skip is that if we die in this tank battle, that's okay, but then there are 2 more battles after this where if we die, we actually will soft lock the game. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Although if it does happen, it'll be kind of cool to just showcase that. So It'll be cool to see that. Basically, basically the objectives get messed up. So the objectives are, you're basically supposed to have gone to we're supposed to have gone to some place called Port Adams that we skipped with Port Adams skip. Funny how that works. But basically the game gets confused about which objective you should be doing. So it's a very, very weird kind of soft lock. But kind of fun, kind of interesting. Oh man. Ah. This is not a very smooth tank fight, but that's okay.
Don't fret. This tree won't make any difference. Ivy isn't strong enough to purify Gotham. No one is.
Alright, there we go. So that tank fight is done, and now we're gonna go do the bane of my existence in all Arkham Knight story categories, which is the Cloudburst Cobras. So basically there's the Cloudburst tank, and it's guarded by 6 Cobra tanks. And this tank battle has a lot of RNG in it, so if the Cobras don't behave, you can lose a ton of time out of them. Like right now, this is not the Cobra orientation I usually like. But I know exactly where they're going to go at the start, so hopefully... So this guy's going to be in here, so I do that. Okay. I think I don't want to be in here. Okay, that's Ah! No, I thought I could get away with that. That's unfortunate. Because this is easy, they don't fire at you that quickly. They will two-shot you, but they don't fire at you very quickly, so you can be a little bit more careless than you can on like hard. But I'm going to be very careful now. I'm kind of accepted that I'm going to lose a lot of time to this. Ah! That was not very careful. Yeah, so Cobra Lure is very helpful. I should be able to... Yeah, and by the way, so if I die here, I will soft lock, or if I like crash here, I'll have to load in a backup save. I have backup saves just in case of things like that happen. So here, this is the Cloudburst tank. Hello. So you have to scan this, and then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to, oh, what? No. That's not good. Ah! Oh, that's really bad. So I'm gonna have to do this. So what I just did there is I did something called bat snacking, where basically I refill my armor and that refills my health as well. I had to do that because I was about to. I had like no health left. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lure the Cloudburst to the clock tower. Basically, if you go behind a building and circle it, it's like one of the easiest ways and most consistent ways of like dealing with this thing, because otherwise, like, this boss fight's actually not... Like, casually, this Cloudburst fight is actually pretty hard. Yeah, we'll just circle this. Yeah, apparently it does do that much damage on easy if you get hit, like, directly. If it, like, grazes you, it doesn't do nearly as much damage, even on hard, but, yeah, it can do that much. It can, I guess it can obliterate you on easy as well. Yeah, it's hard to read chat and, doing this. This is, like, kind of intense. I'm, like, really paying attention to my mini-map, because, basically what happens is if you're going behind a building, the Cloudburst will try to cut you off. So I need to basically watch to see where, if I go too far to the left, then it's going to cut me off on the left, and if I go too far to the right, it's going to cut me off on the right. So I need to just see if it's cutting me off and then adjust my positioning accordingly. But yeah, I had to bat snack there because I would die, probably, and I would soft lock if that happened, so... Alright, so now this is the last shot. So this last shot,
The explosion disabled the main cannon. Now I can get close.
focus on your soft lock. I'm gonna have to load in a safety save that I made. So here, what I try to do is you want to lure the Cloudburst into this clock tower for two reasons. One is the those missiles that he's shooting at you aren't going to hit you; they're going to hit the ceiling. And two, the spawn point after this is the closest to where you want to go to next. So when we destroy this, basically the Arkham Knight's going to be in trouble, but Batman has this weird habit of saving bad guys when they're about to die. So we rescue him. He tries to assault us because he's not very grateful. So we're gonna punch him in the face a few times, and when we punch him, what we're gonna find out is that the Arkham Knight is Joker. I'm joking, this is a hallucination. We don't really know what's real, but he's not Joker, so... Alright, so now we're gonna go find Ivy to see how she's doing. She's basically trying to neutralize the fear toxin with her plants. Oops. So, see how she's doing.
My greatest weapon, my instrument of fear. I will exact vengeance for this upon you and all your allies, like poison ivy. My toxin overwhelms her. She's paying the price for opposing me right now. I served my country, sacrificed everything, lost friends.
And so when we get to Ivy, what she's going to happen is she's going to actually sacrifice herself to get rid of the toxin. So Ivy is now dead, so F's for Ivy. And now what we find is, next up we find at GCPD, they've found some suspicious radio broadcast. Spoiler alert, it's Commissioner Gordon. Basically he is in... Ooh, what? He's in the Arkham Knight's headquarters. Alright, this is not great. Let's But yeah, basically he's in the Arkham Knight's hideout, and we're gonna have to get him from there. But the thing is that Arkham Knight's hideout, there are basically two parts to it, and basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna glitch our way to the end of the first part, because getting to the end of the Arkham Knight's hideout in the first part is kind of slow because you have to do all these puzzles. I'll show you what it looks like when we do it.
Good job, Batman.
Yeah, nice work.
Thanks, Batman. I didn't think we were gonna make it back there.
Relying on a giant plant to save your ass? Yeah, let me know how that works out.
Gotham ain't going down yet, Batman. Thanks to you.
So he's gonna tell us about this radio broadcast.
Tell me about this, bro.
Because he said, "Tell me about this broadcast," and he did.
I've decoded a radio trend.
Alright, so what we're gonna do first is, we'll get in the Batmobile, and then we're gonna eject immediately after that. The only reason is just because there are tanks on the way that can slow us down. Oh wow. Well, when that happens, that's not actually faster. So let's so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna get onto this building here. Then we'll get onto this lamp post here, and then we're gonna glitch on out of bounds. Again, we're using our freeze grenade. Then we're gonna grapple here. And then there's gonna be like some building interior that we're gonna glide to. We'll be able to grapple to it. So what this is basically the top of an elevator, or the middle of an elevator shaft. And what we want to do is we want to load in this elevator shaft. So now it's loaded in when we grapple up here. So now we want to carefully go down. Then go here. Then this is going to unload. So then we dive to 3.5. And then on our left is going to be the end, a tunnel that is at the end of the Arkham Knight headquarters. So we're going to want to glide into that. This has been happening recently. It's okay. We've loaded in like kind of the interior of the hideout. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and unload it.
If I can lower the car on top of that drilling machine, I might be able to move it down to this level.
Get a little bit more speed. Then we will try again. Okay, good. Alright, so now we open this door. We're supposed to use our Batmobile after to drive through these tunnels here. But our Batmobile isn't here. You can see it's not here because we glitched into this area. However, if we reload from checkpoint, then our Batmobile will be here. So that's cool. So now we can continue on. So here we're going to do our next boss fight. This boss fight's called the Excavator. Basically, the Arkham Knight survived, and he is now in this gigantic drill that will obliterate us, just if it wants to. So we're going to do the sensible thing and run away. As we run away, we go through this tunnel, and then at the end of this tunnel, there's like these bombs on the sides of these walls here. And they actually do damage to the excavator. So there are 3 more of these kinds of tunnels. So we're gonna try to lure the excavator into all three of them. So the first tunnel is the excavator. It's kind of a it's actually a very predictable boss fight. You know exactly like where the excavator is going to spawn relative to you. So you can now lure, and then you can then cut him off and then lure him. So we're going to lure him into this tunnel first. And then he's going to hit the sides of this. Alright, so basically now we're going to try to lure him to another tunnel. So we're trying to lure him into this tunnel right there. If I go here, the excavator is going to spawn in over there, like where I'm pointing, and drive towards me. So I'm going to be able to drive forward and cut him off and shoot him to lure him into that tunnel that I want to lure him into. So yeah, so excavator spawns in once the numbers on the right show up. So right now, and then excavator will spawn in. We'll drive there. Alright, this is... Also, I'm using first-person camera in this tunnel because I hate the camera in third person. It's also... and so it's like, it's easier to do like drifting in first person in this tunnel. And it's just easier in general, for me at least. I know other people swear by third person, but I don't think it makes sense in the excavator. Alright, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go here. I want to lure him into the tunnel right there, so I'm going to sit here until he spawns in and then drive on over, shoot him, and then lure him into that tunnel. Oops. What's the alarm for when I usually wake up? Oh, shoot. Forgot to turn that off.
You have another time for another quick donation?
Oh, yeah.
I've got $50 from Wolfenstein. Howdy, and good luck to all runners. Thanks, Deacon, for your night run.
Alright, so here the excavator cuts us off and destroys our Batmobile, so F's to that. A lot of people don't like the Batmobile in this game, so this is their favorite part. I like the Batmobile, so it's kind of sad. Anyway, so now Commissioner Gordon is very close to us. He's actually right there where those people are. So we'll take these guys out. He's surrounded by a bunch of ninjas. Okay, so that's that. And then in this cutscene that we skip, Jason Todd is not dead. Jason Todd is actually the Arkham Knight. So, yeah, I lied about that. Big reveal as well. It is all in a very dramatic cutscene that we skipped. So, but anyways, now we have to do this Arkham Knight boss fight, which is basically 4 Predators. The first phase was just running up to him. It's very easy. Here there are going to be 5 guys as well as the Arkham Knight. So first I'm going to just glide to the Arkham Knight. It's a little bit... on keyboard, that's not a hard glide. Just a little bit of practice. Then we'll take out these other 5 guys, I believe. And this is easy, so we can literally just punch everyone. So let's Alright, then this next phase, basically these guys are optically camouflaged. There's like a fast way of doing it, where you do a... Oh. You only need to take out three of these guys. Then you can just run up to the Arkham Knight and advance to the next phase. It's not easy. It's not really a big deal. I think that was 4 of them. Unless I like missed a cancel or something. Yeah, so you saw there were 2 guys left, and we're still able to advance to the next wave. Those other 2 guys just disappear. And then there's this last phase where there are these sentries, but we can just glide to the Arkham Knight. So, yeah. And that's the Arkham Knight fight. So on easy, this fight's not really a big deal. On hard, it is, pretty difficult. It's killed a lot of runs for me. And then rescue Gordon. So here, now we have to fight these guys. The best way is to blow them up with this generator, and then, oh, whoops. Yeah, so so now we're gonna take this elevator. So spoilers, when we get to the top, it turns out that Barbara is actually not dead. And she's actually alive, and Jim Gordon is basically trading us in for Barbara. And then at the top, what happens is Jim also eventually shoots us in the chest. We fall off the building. Scarecrow thinks we're dead and is like, I didn't want you to kill him. And then he gets mad and throws Barbara off the building. Something like that. And then Batman's not actually dead because he's bulletproof, especially on easy. He rescues Barbara from death, but then Scarecrow kidnaps Gordon. So, yeah, that's what happens in the cutscene that we skip. And then we get confronted by tanks, which is a little bit of a problem because our Batmobile got destroyed. But, well, we'll find ways around it.
On your knees, Crane. Now.
So you did it. I must admit I had my doubts.
Well, look at that. We have a backup Batmobile which has all of the upgrades that we had skipped earlier in the game. Very convenient. It does not have the right paint, though. But that's okay. We can't have everything we want, so... And there's one tank left. Sometimes it straggles and it's hard to like hit. But we got it. So now we're gonna take Oracle back to GCPD. We want her to do tech support for us again. That's what she's the best at. So we're gonna hook her up with a computer. She's gonna try to basically connect the computer to the clock tower servers. But when we do that, what we're gonna find is that also the militia's trying to get into the clock tower servers. We're gonna have to deal with them. So not very cool. It's gonna be a bit of work, but we'll manage, I guess. Maybe.
He gassed you, Bruce. You don't need to worry about us or feel responsible. We're fighting with you, not for you, okay?
It's good to have you back. Cash, I found Barbara. I'm bringing her to the lockup.
She's alive. Thank God.
He was captured by Scarecrow.
You've got to be kidding me.
We'll get him back, Cash.
I turned that off. What? Okay.
I left him.
Anyways,
He's fine.
Barbara,
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reload checkpoint here. And then the reason why is we're going to do a zip later on, and we want to do that zip relative to GCPD. So now we're heading to the clock tower to stop the militia from taking Oracle servers. So in this Predator has a lot of people in it. What we're gonna do on easy, this Predator is pretty good, not too bad. But there is like a minigunner and some snipers, which are even those guys are annoying on easy. So what we're gonna do is take out the sniper on here first, which is loaded in. Sometimes he doesn't load in very quickly. Then we're gonna shoot the minigunner and shoot the sniper over there. With the Batmobile, then you'll just take everyone out. What? It's kind of fun in some of these Predators on easy to see if you can get what kind of how big of a combo you can get. But yeah, Predators on easy are like nothing. Like you just do this. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to go get storage because we're going to do a zip fairly soon. So how long have we been using the super loud keyboard and mouse? I think it's appropriate. The volume is very appropriate. Thank you very much. No, I've been using it the whole time, like ever since I started, so. Alright, so now we'll head back. We're gonna see what whether Oracle can help us find Scarecrow using her servers. But then when we get there, what's going to happen is the militia will have sent in a very sizable number of tanks to basically destroy GCPD. So they're going to form a really big assault on it. So it's a little bit concerning, but we'll have to deal with it. We're not going to get any help from these cops with it because the cops are kind of useless.
Great. You're
It's actually very funny. Like, there's a dialogue where the one person's like, "Let's show them what it means to be GCPD," and I say, "Well, what does it mean? You just sit behind a table while you let Batman do all the work?" Because that's what it means. So,
Keep your guns trained on that door. We are not dying in here. We come.
so when we exit, there's going to be some militia people that come here. We're supposed to fight them, but we're going to actually skip that fight. We're going to zip out. So theoretically, these militia people could have like gone into GCPD and killed everyone, but that doesn't happen apparently. Apparently, they see Batman teleport away and then they just give up. It's very interesting. So now there are these tanks. You can see there are a lot of there's not a small number of tanks. We want to use our Batmobile to fight them, but we can't get these doors open. So we need to power the doors using these generators. There are these thugs, these militia people blocking it. Ah, I wanted to batarang that guy. Alright, so power up the generators, and now we're going to need to fight these tanks. There's 60 of them, which is not a small number. Also, normally there would be like a counter that tells you how many tanks are left, but because we skipped that fight in the beginning, there isn't one. So we're gonna have to kind of play it by ear, just destroy them until we can proceed on with the phase. On easy, this tank fight really isn't a big deal. On hard, it's much harder, but regardless, we have bat snacks in case we're close to dying. Oops.
Take it out. They aren't so tough. Initiating hack. Batman, overcharge the tank's energy cells. It'll trigger an EMP when shot.
Drone offline.
Good shooting.
Batman's taken out a drone.
Okay, next hack started. Tank hack.
The ones that fight at your side still believe in you. I will show them how misplaced that belief is. Drone's been
Oh, whoops.
It's still in a fight. Drone's been hit.
Nice.
Status critical. Awaiting orders. It's time. Send them in.
Alright, so that's that tank fight.
There's nothing left.
Yeah, not really a big deal. And then this final part of the GCPD assault is where some militia people, some soldiers, go onto the roof to try to basically take the elevator down to GCPD. So we're gonna have to
Utility systems on the rooftop.
take them out.
Take the bastards out. You just set 'em up.
Alright, then this is the last phase, so these guys here. So I like to environmental take down this guy. Alright, that's the fight. That was pretty fast, relatively speaking, for that fight. So now we're going to head to Panessa because this is like, we're preemptively going to Panessa because what's going to happen is we're going to talk to Oracle and she's going to say, hey, my dad just used his voice thing to go into Panessa, which is kind of weird because we're right here and he's not here. But what happened is Scarecrow has come in and has basically kidnapped Robin. Because, you know, we locked Robin in a cell. Like, of course that's going to happen. Like, Robin can't do anything about it either. But, yeah, so Robin's been taken by Scarecrow. And Gordon's also with Scarecrow. So, Scarecrow basically wants us to surrender ourselves to him in order to save them. Which is fair, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna do it, so. I'm playing the Steam version. So Barbara's unhappy with us because we locked him in a cell. We're gonna go to surrender ourselves. So there's a zip we can do for this. I usually don't do it, but because this is a marathon and it's kind of cool, apparently it saves time, although when I do it, it doesn't save any time. I could lose this time when I do it. Oh, whoops. Oh, whoops, I'm screwing it up. What am I doing? Yeah, it also didn't really work very well. Yeah, I don't usually do it, so I'm not used to doing it. That's why I messed up a few times, but it is kind of cool. Oh, whoops. It's right here. So we go in here and then surrender ourselves to Scarecrow. If there's another donation you want to read out, this is a good time.
No new donations, but if you are a speedrunner yourself and would like to participate in one of our marathons, we'd love to have you. Runners from all around the globe are encouraged to submit to our online events, and if you're willing and able to come to Minneapolis, once safe enough, you can take part of our in-person events as well. For information, join our Discord server by typing command Discord in chat or checking out our Twitch bio.
Awesome, yeah, this is a great marathon, so looking forward to the in-person events as well. And yeah, so Arkham Knight has had one update in the past like 5 years or something, and that was to add like 2 extra skins. So I have that up, whatever that update was. So basically, we're surrendering ourselves to Scarecrow. You can see the fumes of the toxin, so we're getting gassed in here. We left our tool pellet on the bench, so that's... I don't know, that's not very smart to me. Alfred tells us that there's some guy who's tracking us. We'll find out who that guy is after the run is over. Because I think we should be... I think right now I'm on like a 2:30, like 2 pace, or 2:33, so we should be under estimate. So yeah, we can see who's tracking the Arkham, or we can see who's tracking Batman after this. Anyway, so now we're hallucinating Crime Alley because no Arkham game is complete without a scene of Crime Alley, which is where Batman's parents were killed. So yeah, we're hallucinating that. We'll just check out this. There's some doors. Let's try to open one, see what happens. And then it's like, oh hey, here's our parents. Let's pay our respects. And so what's basically going to happen is here then Joker is going to come in and try to take over Batman's mind, basically. Yeah. So we're going to have to fight him off. On easy, this fight, all you have to do is get critical strikes. You don't have to counter at all if you do it properly. On hard, it's a little bit different. It's much enemies attack faster on hard. I'm not even holding a direction. Like I'm literally just punching and making sure I do the rhythm so I get the critical strikes. I countered there because I got a little scared, but I don't think I needed to even there. Yeah, and then here Batman breaks the Joker's neck in his mind, so he didn't actually kill anyone yet. Okay, so after this little hallucination, what happens is Scarecrow ties up Batman and unmasks him on television in front of the whole world. So now everybody knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, which I actually don't think I explicitly stated. So in case you didn't know, yeah, Bruce Wayne is Batman. And now the whole world knows, and then Scarecrow injects him with a bunch of fear toxin because he wants to show the world that Batman is just a normal person who's afraid like everyone else. So now what's happening is every single time Batman gets injected with toxin, he starts turning more and more into Joker. So now here he's kind of fully turned into Joker, and we are now in a Joker-mobile, a Joker-themed Batmobile, shooting a bunch of people. But yeah, we're basically Joker. Batman would never do this. He would use non-lethal rounds. Joker's using lethal rounds because he's a jerk. And now we get to play Call of Duty Joker Edition. So we're gonna go through this hallway. There are a bunch of bad guys here. I generally don't shoot Penguin because it's slower, but I'm gonna just shoot him because no one likes Penguin. You can get away with shooting only the hostage or only Riddler, but it's just easier to shoot both. So whoops. Yeah, so shoot Harvey Dent or Two-Face.
Stop this madness. Please.
Yeah, so basically what's happened is that now that Scarecrow has injected Batman with even more toxin, Batman is now the Joker, and you can even see, like, at least in his mind, he's the Joker. He's represented as the Joker now as he's tied up. Now Joker is like a very not the most serious guy. He likes to make jokes and laugh a lot. Scarecrow interprets that as the toxin not working properly and does the natural thing and decides to inject him with more toxin. We'll see what the effects are of that. Also in Big Head mode, this is a much more intimate scene than normal. Like, their heads go into each other. Like, I've never seen anybody that intimate before. But yeah, so Joker's laughing, Scarecrow's confused. Inject with more toxin. The answer. That's the answer. So now we're Joker. We are Batman, but the Joker version of Batman. We're gonna see what effects this fear toxin has. So like things are okay. We're like we see ourselves getting cremated. Very cool. We're seeing our grave here.
I outgrew that body anyway. Trying to tell me something, Bats?
Oh, but it's kind of weird. The grave is much smaller than we thought. Let's go into this hallway, see what's there. Actually, I don't like this hallway. Let's turn around. Oh, hey, a Batman statue. I wonder why that's happening. Then we go to... This is a wake that Harley organized, but for some reason nobody's here. Just empty chairs. So this is kind of weird. It's very concerning. Like, no, why would nobody be at our wake? That's very concerning. Then we go in here. There's a news article. Joker dies. Gotham doesn't care. What? Radio. Sorry, who? And then Harley Quinn and Riddler expecting first child? What is this? Why do people not know who I am? Why does nobody care about me?
No one's forgetting me. No. How do I get out of here?
Batman statues. So we don't like Batman very much. We're just gonna shoot the statues.
Where are you? Come out. I'll find you.
Alright, so here we hear the music start to crescendo. We want to when the crescendo hits the peak, we want to get like a Batman jump scare. So when he says out of ideas, Bats, that's like when we want to start paying attention. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in here. There's like a circle of Batmans. I'm going to try to just spin the camera around. Hopefully Batman pops out like in a reasonable amount of time. He is not. So then I get into another circle, and then there we go. Yeah, sometimes Batman can pop out really quickly. Sometimes he doesn't pop out very quickly. That was like not that quickly. Unfortunate, but it's okay. Yeah, so basically what's happening is that Batman's greatest fear is turning into Joker, and every time he gets exposed to toxin, he succumbs to his greatest fear, which is turning into Joker. Now that he's turned into the Joker, he gets injected with toxin again. And what happens is, as Joker, he's going to succumb to Joker's greatest fear, which is being forgotten. So that's what's happening now, basically. Joker is succumbing to his fear of being forgotten because he's been injected with Batman's toxin, or with Scarecrow's toxin. So here we have Batman is going to basically lock Joker away in a tiny cell in his mind. So timing's going to end very soon. It's going to end on the last punch on Joker. I'll just say end. I'll just say done when it's done. So it's so I think it's like 3, 2, 1, done. So yeah, here Batman locks Joker away in a cell in his mind.
Goodbye, Joker.
And then Joker becomes forgotten. And because Joker is now forgotten, Batman no longer has to be afraid of turning into Joker. So now basically Batman is immune to Scarecrow's fear toxin. It's pretty nice that he's able to just kind of overcome the fear toxin through sheer will, but he is Batman, so kind of expected. I'll let this cutscene play out a little bit. So Scarecrow, his solution to everything is always to inject people with fear toxin, so he's going to try injecting more fear toxin into Batman. And Batman's immune to it, although I think these needles would still hurt. Like, you're not immune to being pierced with needles, right? But, yeah, he's not afraid. He doesn't get scared, so that's kind of weird. Then, yeah, big head mode. He sticks the gun into Batman's head. But then we get rescued by, this is Jason. He is now not the Arkham Knight anymore. He is Red Hood. So he is the one who's been tracking us. And he basically now we're able to subdue Scarecrow, rescue Robin and Gordon, and lock up Scarecrow in GCPD. So that is the end of the run. Thanks for having me.
GG's, Deacon. That was a great run. Thanks for showing the game to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Best gift you've brought up.